Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom. I'm just hanging out at home working on some edits on some film that we shot. We really have some miraculous stories of some wonderful people who have truly come a long way in life, that have overcome challenges, but they stepped out and they did the things that they wanted to do, and they grasped the life that they wanted for themselves. And I got to think, well, maybe some of you don't know the reason behind the BTBY movement. What is my story and why this movement is so important to me, why you are so important to me, why your life matters to me, and why I want to see you become the best version of yourself. So I wrote this book, and I had a lot of friends tell me I needed to write it, and I really didn't want to. But the more I do this, the more I felt that it was needed just for myself, even to heal. So if you've got a story out there, sometimes it helps to write it down. And my book is called When the Truth Hunts You Down by Brenda Ringwood. You can get it on Amazon. It's real short. It's just about 100 pages. So go check it out on Amazon. I'd love to hear more from you and what you think about the show and this movement. You can always find me at social media at Brenda Ringwood at gmail.com, or at thingsbybrenda.com. Would love to see you.
Hi, I'm Isabel Black, co-host of the Becoming the Best You talk show. I'm excited to be here with you today and share with you these wonderful stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in their lives. I can't wait for you to hear these beautiful stories. You won't be able to help but be inspired. So grab your favorite drinks and enjoy.
Hello. I'm Brent, coming to you with another BTBY TV episode, and I am in Florida, an amazing beach, Clearwater, Florida, at Del Toro's Full Throttle event. And I met this amazing man, and I said, I have to interview him because you guys need to hear some of the stuff that he does. Phenomenal, man. He's also going to speak today. Can't wait to hear that. Of course, this is going to air after you guys have already spoke, but maybe we'll put some clips in.
No, they can get on my YouTube. They can see all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah.
So why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them who they are,
Yeah.
who you are for them.
Well, my name's Todd Saylor, and I am wired differently, and you're wired differently. You're misfits, you're undesirable, you're all these things we think about in our head, but we're truly wired differently. And I love your movement.
It's a great movement.
My movement, your movement. We're going in the same places, and it's just it's a privilege to literally be able to talk with someone. I mean, I think we met walking into a restaurant.
I think we did.
And I said hello, and you said hello, and you said my name is Brandon, and I said my name is Todd. And after that, it was easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
That's right.
But Wired Differently is, it's a movement, it's a mindset, it's a mission, and it's a ministry. And I think that we hit all those M's and we're doing it just right. But Wired Differently, in a nutshell, is you, my friend. God made you indescribably different, supremely purposefully, the best in the world at your craft, and there's only one of you, and you've heard all of it. But I think you need people like me to tell it to you, to preach it to you, to love it into you, and understand that, man, I'm a misfit, And
I think we all are at times, no matter who you are.
I really am. And the idea of Wired Differently, when I wrote my first book, was Wired Differently, leveraging your favors on Fulcrum principles, Brenda. And then the second book, which that first book was beautiful. It took me 2 years to write. Only 121 pages. So people made fun of me for 121 pages in 2 years, but I wrote my own book.
That's
I
right.
breathed it.
You should be proud of that.
Yeah, my second book is Drift Again. And honestly, my third book, which is going to be coming out this year, is called Your Will Be Done. And I'm going to be speaking
love
about
that
it. I'm going to be,
title.
I'm going to be speaking about it today. And I'm going to be challenging some people with 3 stages of being wired differently. But I'm going to give you a little secret. The truth of the matter is, to be wired differently is to truly be a misfit, right? And a misfit is someone who is not of this world.
Did you hear that, guys?
Of this
Not
world.
of this world. So tell them what that means.
Well, it truly means that, hey, I'm just going to cut to the chase for you special people, is to accept Jesus Christ into your heart, be able to wear this shirt unabashedly, walk through crowds of people, and understand that you're truly wired different because you have Jesus. I mean, it just moves me.
I know I
to say-
got chills right
so,
now because
yeah.
he can change your life.
Yeah, and we've all heard it, but this movement is more about being bold. And I know a lot of you out there have trouble being bold, but I want to tell you the number one reason that you can be bold. Because you can't be bold in Jesus, you can't be bold in life, you can't be bold in anything that you put your thoughts or mind to unless you've been
Saved. Yeah.
saved,
Saved, but you're broken first. Yes.
right. You've got to be saying, good. I like how you, of course I'm going to use that, but
Yeah.
I want you to know that your boldness is driven by your brokenness.
That's right.
And that'll keep you from being bullish.
Bingo. That is so true. But you don't have to be broken to experience a relationship with Christ. You
No,
don't
but
have to have that story, but listen to what he's telling you about the brokenness.
Yeah.
Because we all go through it sometime.
Yeah, I think those people, I don't know why we're on this tangent already, but I just want you to understand that. I think that these viewers specifically are like me. They're the little kid that didn't have any friends growing up. It was just a little odd, just a little different, loved differently, fought differently, cried differently, worked differently, got up earlier, went to bed later, everything in our life was that adverb differently. We weren't the adjective different, we were differently. Differently is an adverb, right? It modifies an adjective, and now it's a special word. You're special differently. And so I want to empower you, that so most of us has experienced brokenness, and we're thinking that, hey man, I feel insecure over my brokenness. But
that's the key right there.
Yeah.
You're letting it stop you.
You're letting it stop you, but the brokenness qualifies you to be
Oh,
bold without
love it.
bullishness.
Yes. Oh, wow. I haven't heard it put that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I just want to empower them. I want them to know that. That's your gift.
It is. And they have a gift. Everybody has a gift. You might not think you do, but you do. And your story is part of you. Yes.
That's my wire differently piece.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. So how were you raised?
So I was raised in, my parents stayed married most of the marriage, but they were divorced when I was in my 20s, or like 20s or 20s. But I wasn't raised in a church. In fact, church was a fight. Dad never wanted to go. Mom was Catholic. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's kind of a broken relationship right there.
Yeah, but I worked every day of my life. I didn't have a weekend off until I was 21 years old.
Oh, wow. That says a lot for a young man.
I was born a donut maker. And I became an All-American football player in college. Had some tryouts. I just wasn't quite good enough. Moved through life. Hall of Famer in that college. And then I built a company because I didn't like my first job. I only had one job in my life, and it was Taco Bell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I didn't like that. I did it for about a year, and I said, I can't work for anybody. So by the time I was 22, I went back to the donut business and build a donut shop like my dad had did all these years, Tom's Donuts. And funny story is I lost everything to a man who was a little bit slicker than me. And I had married my wife, I had 2 kids, and we had to move back home to Indiana, and lived in a single wide trailer. We had a raccoon family, but I had to kick them out first before we could move into the trailer. Yeah. And we started from nothing. We lost everything. So anyways, it's a great story of that. I took a sales job. I knew I could sell. Took a sales job, did very well. Another sales job, became the #1 salesman in the nation.
Wow.
In my early 30s. Leveraged that publicly traded company, which it became with my sales, and bought me out in a leveraged buyout.
Wow.
And then I went and built my first major company, Pacer Systems Incorporated, which now is the nation's largest ACM and 1,000-player
As I
space.
said, I
and you
thought
can
I've
cheer.
heard
Yeah.
that name.
Yeah, so that's one, and I own 14 companies.
Mhm.
And I am a wired differently systems entrepreneur. So I teach people how to build their businesses wired differently in
That's
a Christ-like
wonderful.
way.
Yes. See, that's the key. People tend to do it and then bring God in instead of bringing God in and then letting Him do it. Did you hear that? Bringing God in first and then letting Him do it.
But I'd like to share on that a little bit because one of the things I'm really doing with Wired differently is I'm coming out. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I've been married to my wife 34 years and 6 months, let's say. And
Congratulations.
yeah, and I've
That's-
been with the
that's
I've been with the Lord
Powerful.
34 years and 4 months.
Oh, okay.
So I was with her a couple months before I found Jesus. She was my influence in that regards. All I'm trying to say is I've been with God in phases,
Mhm.
ups and downs, and you know I generally use the word God when I was speaking or when I was growing and moving through things, and I'd get away from him a little bit and come back and get away from. But really, this latest piece of Wire Differently, the movement is that we need to learn to say the word Jesus.
We do.
We can't always hide behind the word God. And I think that if you recognize yourself and you recognize other people that are out there moving in God's space, it is a little safe to always say God because it's so universally non-threatening. And so I found myself kind of hiding behind
The word God.
the word God.
Mhm.
And, you know, I would just challenge you this is that Wire Differently is a next level believer process. Not that you're closer to God and you're going to go to heaven before anyone else. I just don't believe that. I think you're there. God loves
Right.
you.
I
Not gonna
also
let you
think
lose
that
it.
once saved, always saved.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, we'd be on our knees 24/7.
But he does say, Our Father who art in heaven,
Mhm.
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Your will be done. And we'll be talking about that today. And God is asking us to pray to him
That's right.
that his will be done. But then I asked myself, Brent, what is God's will?
That's the question. And how do we discern
And
what
so,
is?
and so I
his
answer
will?
that question today at 1:45.
We'll put some clips on here because it'll air after this show will air. And you can see the lights coming on behind us. We're actually in the room that it's going to happen in. So you hear some noises and stuff, but that's okay because
Yeah.
this is an experience. And you know what? Christ is an experience because he will change your life. And a lot of you, my viewers, know my story. I actually did 4 years in the feds. I don't know if you knew that.
You're in prison?
I was in prison. Yes, I was. And
I went
was
to jail once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to jail once, but I stayed there. Unfortunately, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was a believer as a young girl. And it was kind of like you. I was on and off in my relationship. But had I not had that foundation when I was in prison, I don't know what would have happened to me, but it was because of that foundation that my heart changed, my actions changed, my mindset changed. And I was actually at peace in prison. I was supposed to do 7 to 8 months. God opened those doors and I got out of a federal holding facility 34 months early, which doesn't happen, but because I was right and I was at peace where God had me, it changed my life, which is why we do this movement. Because if you want change, you can make it happen.
Yeah. So you're an overcomer.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are. I could tell.
I am an
That's nice to
overcomer.
know. Yeah, you're an overcomer. And I think you all are overcomers.
Yes.
You know, I think that this insecurities I feel still. I mean, I'm going to talk about my 14. I'm going to talk about what Wired Differently Systems done for me. I'm talking about what God's done for me. You're going to talk to me, to the people about what this full throttle experience has helped me understand in my life. And my number one demon is I'm not good enough.
Yes, I still feel that way. In fact, when I have been a speaker for 20 plus years, so it's not new for me to come and do this. I just decided I'm going to do it full time and I'm going to do this movement. But when I first came out, my self-esteem, I just felt that I didn't have a value. People didn't want to hear my story. And my mom did that whole virtual slap and said, knock it off.
Yeah.
You are not that person anymore, and you can make a difference. It doesn't matter what your past is, and you don't have to go to prison for that. Your past and the choices. Yes, exactly.
You don't have to go to prison for that.
Yeah,
Listen
please
to me.
don't go to
You can,
prison
there's
for that.
easier ways. I only went for one night.
It was enough, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I tried to bail some other people out. I made some connections in there, and I'm sure you did
Oh
too.
yeah, I made some really cool
Yeah.
people.
Did you know you can only bail yourself out.
That's
You
right.
can't.
No,
Yeah, so you,
that's right.
proof. You've been
I
to
couldn't
jail.
bail myself out though.
Really, I made that phone call. It's like I was ready.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know you're all wondering what I did, but you have to see the next episode.
That's right. And to be continued because he told me he was going to come see me in Kansas City. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, listen. I mean, I fully intend on being at one of your conferences.
Oh,
and
yes.
killing it. I mean, killing
Mhm.
it wired differently.
And it's for you. He's wired differently. He's created this movement wired differently for you. What does that look like to them? How can they find you? How can they hear more about
Yeah.
your program?
That's pretty exciting. I made it pretty simple, through the speaking.
Mhm.
Let's text this and do all that. It got so complicated. You go to toddsaylor.com and you find anything out you want to find about. You Google Todd Saylor. You go to YouTube, Todd Saylor. I'm the #1 Google in the world, Todd Saylor in the world. And you go to toddsaylor.com and there's a special on the homepage right now for my latest book, free audios, free coaching, and there's even some video courses on there. So just click, boop, and you'll get in a funnel and you can select this and that. So here's my dream. Maybe you can help me make it come true.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
My dream, this mission of helping people challenge and coming out and to really understanding to not be abashed, not to be bold in the word Jesus, right? I've been broken. I deserve the ability to be able to share the name Jesus without feeling insecure, without feeling
Ashamed.
persecuted or
Yes,
ashamed or not
yes.
good enough. I have been broken. I really want this movement to be a sea of blue shirts one day. I mean, I see thousands of people.
Oh, that's just what
The word.
it's needed
Yeah,
because
and
it's a sea of Christ.
It's a sea, and
Yes.
it's our way of saying we love you, Jesus.
Absolutely.
We're going to walk into the world, and the world's going to understand what wired differently means. And even if they don't know what it means from the deep core, they're going to understand they are wired differently, and they're going to want to be like us.
Yep. Christ says that I knew you in the womb before you were born. I know the number of hairs on your head.
Yeah.
He loves you and he wants you to succeed. He wants you to dream and he wants to give you those dreams. We just have to ask. We just have to ask, but it goes a little deeper than that. In his will.
Your
And
will
yes,
be done.
absolutely. Yes.
See, the flip side of that is that we pray for his will.
Mhm.
I'll give you a little secret. But his will, first and foremost, is our free will.
That's beautiful.
And until I started writing my third book, it really became brave about what I'm going to say on the stage today, what I've been saying on the stage for the last couple of years. It just didn't really click.
Mhm.
And God loved us so much that he releases us from the womb at some point. And I preach and teach on the stages of being wired differently. So your free will is his will.
Mhm.
And he's allowed us.
That's so true.
Right? He's allowed us to be successful in this world without him.
Mhm.
What? You mean I don't need Jesus Christ to be successful?
There's a lot of successful people that don't believe.
Matter of fact, he says in the Bible, it just double down on that. I used to use people's name that I didn't think were Christians, but I just don't think I'm going to do that anymore. But he says in the Bible, it's easier to pass a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man to inherit the kingdom. So the bottom line is rich people are having a lot of fun down here all the time. And I happen to be a rich person, but I'm just going to tell you I'm not ashamed of it. I'm coming out. I'm going to tell you how much money I make today on that stage. And I'm nervous because I don't know I do that. But I'm going to do it.
And you're making it in his name.
And I'm doing it in
Yes.
his name. He's empowered. And I'm going to tell people where it was before I became wired differently and now where we are with this process and all this. And I just felt like the Lord laid it on me. I've just been hard for me to talk about that. But you're coming to an event like this and you hear all this.
They need to hear it.
But then very few, I've never heard someone come out and say, this is where I started and this is what I'm worth. I mean, I'm nervous.
I'm sure you're going to do great. But that is a story that they need to hear because everybody wants success.
Yeah.
Now, I have a different viewpoint of success. I think.
Can I interrupt you?
Sure.
Because I believe I know what you mean.
Mhm.
And I'm going to just I'm going to teach the principle of becoming a succession
Mm,
today.
okay.
All right, and I hope that and I'm going to let you talk on your show.
Mhm. You're okay. We make the interviews about the
But
person that's
oh
here.
well,
So,
I love
yeah.
her, but I just a successionaire is what I am.
Mhm. Love it.
Right.
Explain.
And so the only way to become successful in this world is very easy. You only have to do one thing: execute a plan.
Mm.
I don't care if it's cooking dinner,
Mhm.
you're successful. I don't care
Yes.
if it's putting together a plan to go out to the date night. It's a successful plan. And success becomes success. And you can't have success if you don't create a plan. And over time, if you become good at executing plans, you're a successionaire.
That's right. Oh, I love
And
it.
successionaires can make plans to become, do, and think anything that they want in this world. And we've heard it 100 times, but we just got to simply start with a plan. And if you do enough successful plans, then you become a
Oh
successionaire.
man, see, listen to those words of wisdom. I'm sure you can hear some of this stuff on
And,
your
and
channels.
you know, and so hey, listen, man, if you want to be a millionaire, make a plan to do it.
Mhm.
If you want to have more friends than anybody on Facebook can plan, make a plan to do it. Because you're in the same category as a millionaire, successionaire, as a fringionaire, as a successionaire, right?
See?
And I say, I want you to be able to lift yourself up and understand, obviously, and I'm gonna let you go here, but
No, you're
money
fine.
is not the measure of all motive.
Mhm.
Money does somewhat keep score. And I
And it
can't,
helps.
and I
It
can't
does
lie that we're gonna go through all this. God doesn't want us to be impoverished and laying around and be poor witnesses to what what he can do for us. So we want to thread that needle. And I really believe I have a gift in regarding the humility in that, but yet enough arrogance to pull it off in a loving way.
I believe that. I believe that. I completely believe that. But they know my viewpoint. I think if you could just strive to be happy and content,
Yeah.
that is also a form of success.
If that is your plan.
Yes. Oh no, I agree. Well, just like my plan is not done yet because we're obviously doing the show, and my plan is for you to achieve this. That
Are you gonna
is the
help me?
plan. Of course, I'm gonna
Oh
help
my
you.
God. That's
So
awesome.
give them some parting words of wisdom.
Yeah. I think I want to give you the best words of wisdom. God gave before all this motivation, before all this stuff, before all the money, before all the success, God said, say this prayer daily. Pray to yourself. Go to your closet and pray. Don't pray on the streets. Don't be a big deal. Don't babble on like a blathering idiot. Just simply say this: Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, glory forever. I don't know. There's a lot there, but I'm just telling you, God's telling us to pray for three things. He's praying to pray for power. Give us words in our bread. He's praying to pray for forgiveness, not only from him, but so we can forgive others. And lastly, he's praying, asking us to pray for wisdom, to not lead us into temptation. You pray for those three things, and you're going to have power beyond your understanding. And just seek his will, because he gave you free will. You can do anything in this world that you want with his power and his will. But I want you to understand it's so much better with him in your life.
Yeah, that's powerful. It's because he's powerful. Thank you so
That's
much.
his will.
Yes,
He wants
it
you
is.
back. He wants you back. He wants you back.
He does. He wants you with him in heaven is the ultimate goal that you should be striving for. There's only one way to do that. Can you tell him that way?
Yeah, accept Jesus Christ into your heart, your Lord and Savior.
Absolutely. I know he changed my life. He's changed his life. He's changed hundreds of thousands of lives, millions, billions of lives. He can change your life as well. So again, remember to change that mindset, change your actions, and it will change your life. Thanks
Come
for
wired
watching.
differently.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
I didn't come here to give you a speech. I came here to have some fun. Come on now. All right. So listen, this is a wire differently hat. Who wants it? Me! here, 5 Alive. Where you at, 5 Alive? Yeah! All right, I would just keep taking clothes off. This is my jacket. But I'm going to share some things with you. But before we get going, I just want you to understand. Before I left the house, I was getting out of the car and going back up, and I forgot something. My wife was behind, and she goes, "Hey, before you go to FTX, I want you to understand, don't forget to warn them about yourself." I'm like, "Baby, why are you doing that?" She goes, "You know, you got to warn them about the hazards of your motivational skill set." And I'm like, "Baby, you got to tell them." Because I'm just that damn good. I want to tell you, my net worth was just under $2 million. And I think it's important because when I was talking to Dell, I said, "Dell, how do you all measure your money?" Remember that conversation? Is it gross sales? Is it EBITDA? Is it, how do you do it? And Dell's like, "Well, yeah, however you do it, just justify it." So, okay, so my first number, no, I mean, if you're going to say a number, you got to be able to back it up. I'm not picking on it. Relax, everybody. So I give the number, and my gross revenue was somewhere around $20 million, but the real number that I was working off of was roughly $2 million. So I'm just going to tell you how I got to that point. So the first thing I did when I graduated was I found the most beautiful woman in the world I could ever marry. I fell in love with her when she was 15. She fell in love with me when I was 18. We got married. We've been married together for 34 years. Long story short, I go through all this, and I lose everything at the age of 22. I go to live in a trailer because I have 2 babies, and I have to kick some raccoons out to get that. Right? The story goes on, like similar stories. But at the end of the day, I'm meeting Dell, and I said, "Dell, this is where I'm at." And as I build my #1 company, Pacer Systems Incorporated, was almost a fledgling in some regards. I was on my 6th company. So I want you to understand, where's my man over here? I heard you talk the first day. You're amazing. 2 companies. And I want to talk to you about that. So the bottom line is I own 14 companies now, and they're all under the umbrella called Wired Differently Systems. All right? 14 companies. And what I wanted to explain to you is that I knew early on that I wanted to be a businessman, but I wanted to be a business builder of businesses. So the idea of building a company was not a solo project. That's what I want to encourage a lot of you on your entrepreneurial gift set. If you're going to build one company, build one company. But if you know you want to be an entrepreneur in that regard, most millionaires have 7 streams of income. You got that? I knew that one company wasn't enough. And so when you start to build the Heather and the infrastructure that Dell was talking about, that I coached him on, thank you for that compliment, Dell, was this idea that I knew that I wanted to be in the business of building businesses, right? And so it made the infrastructure so much easier. Rule number 1, know what you want. The most successful people in the world, write this down. Know what they want. Number 1 rule. That's never going to change until the end of time. Number 1 is know what you want. And number 2 is how to get it. It's not that complicated. You'd be surprised at how many people don't even know what they want. If they don't know what they want, they can't get it. So what I want to tell you, real quick, I just want to get some love from you. I'm going to unveil this number. So in 7 years, roughly $1.5 million net worth, and that would have went away really quick with 1 or 2 house deals, I'll be honest. And I will share you my books. I will share you with the financial. I am this transparent. $31 million.